What's up, guys? I got nothing in the background today. Sorry about the video yesterday. Hopefully everyone was able to hear me because the short entry and the couple ideas that I had in that video ended up turning out to be very profitable. So today I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to go over a few things, try to find some levels in case this market does continue to be a sell-off day, that maybe we can potentially find another shorting opportunity that, is very safe and is going to give us a powerful move down, because that's the kind of stuff that I like to look for. Now, there's times where I like to short like up top resistances, which gives you the best moves possible, or the most profits possible, I guess I should say. But then there's also a break of a range. And if you can break a range and back test it and confirm it and find that confirmation that you're looking for, it can actually be extremely, extremely fun. So anyway, we had that happen with an NVDA range that I missed, and I was talking about that in the video. But I did end up getting a small little, a good position on it with the levels I was talking about in that video yesterday, on the SPY video. So here's Tesla. If we look on a 4-hour time frame, we can see that Tesla made a very, very nice run. If we actually, I have this yellow line here for a reason at 86.92, but if we actually put it up here to kind of just show the support area that Tesla had, it's pretty much a range from this support of 213 to this support of roughly 180.07. That could have some confluence later on if we go to candle bodies, just to give us maybe a better potential take profit area or support area to have to watch out for. It'll be 185.80. Now, we're not going to use that right now, though. I'm going to find a better level that's going to give us a more precise look and a more precise level. But I just wanted to show this on the 4-hour to show how significant the area that Tesla has been rejecting off of is, and why it can actually cause a pretty nasty sell-off if it wants to. But it also could be gearing up for, if it does manage to hold a very nice bull flag that, does build here over the coming days and weeks. But with the market selling off, if it does continue, then Tesla could actually lose the support. So as you see that I have it drawn in here, this chart looks similar to an NVDA, which I think looks pretty sloppy right now, because when I short stuff, I do start adding quite a few levels, as you see, off of the 1 minute. But NVDA, same type of pattern. It looks like a symmetrical, ascending triangle with a flat top, and then you break the support and you continue on your merry way down to some levels potentially. So that was a short that we took yesterday. But now, this Tesla chart, we had our key resistances, roughly up around this 213, 214 area. If you go off of the candle bodies, you could say that Tesla had to close above 213, really, 212.84, to confirm a breakout and continue up, maybe up towards some support up in this range. But it didn't do so. And, maybe more of a sell the news based off of the Tesla Investor Day, whatever. But right now, we did break this 198.03. Or maybe it's not 198. Let's. I kind of was drawing it in here like this, so I was looking for this support to hold. Now, the reason that I'm trying to make it more precise today is because if I'm going to make a trade on it, I want to know where was the rising support previously in case we do get a bounce off of this support that, well, right now we're actually losing the support. If we do manage to get a push back up for some reason, which NVDA did not do, and that's something that I'm going to have to keep in mind. So when NVDA broke down from it, it pretty much just ended up going right down to its support, or is still working that way. But this is still going to be the same process I always use. I'm going to look for the area that the bodies could not manage to close below previously, and then I'm going to look at some wicks. So the first thing I do is I look at where the price was ranging from. We came up, we found resistance at 209, came down, we found support on the bodies at 193.16. So the first body I find is right here, and then I'm going to zoom out and say, does this make sense? So previously we had wicks coming up here to that 98, which is in line with that rising support. We had bodies right here too as well. We had a body here as well, 86.35. We had, so this is going to, Tesla might be a little bit more choppy to figure out because obviously bodies didn't close below, they didn't close below 95.55. But so there's a couple different levels of resistance. It could be this 95.50 and it could be this 93.24. However, the fact that Tesla is down at 86.34 could mean that, you know, if it's going to rally at all, I would expect a rally somewhere to this area from 93.24 to as high as 95.50. I don't think it's, I mean, I think it will rally. Well, we'll have to see. I think it's going to try to hold, but I think it's going to break down today. So that's why I'm looking at the short idea. So then we had this body, which is basically what we're holding right now. But I'm just trying to do this on the fly. I mean, this is a pretty, it's 89.54. I kind of like this level as a secondary level to watch. I'm not sure which one's going to be more important. Now, if I was to want to short, of course, I would rather short this 93. Not only is it higher up in price, going to give us more of a distance from the support to make bigger gains, but depending on how weak Tesla is going to be, it definitely could just reject off this 89.54. So those will be the two starter levels, and then we can look over in some past price action, and then maybe we can give ourselves an idea of a range. So that's where I get my green box. This is always, like, this is the kind of stuff that I do every morning before I get ready for, you know, the trading day, is I'm going to look at some things and say, where was the support and where was the resistance? And I'll start with my yellow lines, and then I'll make my box. Of course, you don't have to do any of that. You can do it however it works for you. I mean, that 93.24 to $93 is looking pretty significant to me. But I like to find ones, I like to find like candle body closes that close similar at the same levels, which, even looking over here on the left, I mean, this is pretty close. You have a body, it comes up, it can't close below. You have a body here that closes directly. It pops up to 95.85, closes directly 94.61. Wick also to roughly 96, but wick a little higher. That's why wicks are hard, because you have 95.68, you have 95.45, you have 95.70, you have 200. So I want to go by the bodies. This body was attempting to break out, but the next candle, it basically was spinning top from 186.48 to 195.68. So that level actually doesn't look too bad either. 95.68. And you pretty much couldn't close a body above the 94.61 again. Same here. A couple wicks to roughly 94.78 to 61. Body closed right directly below. So now I have multiple. I don't usually have this many lines. I usually have one line that I want to look at. But it seems like 94.60, was it 68, was the best potential one based off of some of this. Yeah. All right. So 94.65 is going to be a level for me to pay attention to. We did close some bodies at 95.50. We wicked to that area. Right here, we couldn't close below. And then before the pump, we were closing underneath. So 94.65. And sorry if this is like kind of sloppy, confusing, whatever. But I like to try to do stuff on the fly most of the time. So we have two levels now, and then we have to try to find that lower support from the left to see if maybe we can find a better support. So right here, we had a breakdown that looks like 79.44. Oh, that looks actually pretty juicy. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the candle bodies, where they closed, when they dropped, and did we bounce, and where did we reject, and so on and so forth. That way you can kind of see like what was the range prior to a breakdown, and that gave you a move down to $100. Like, where was the back test? Where was the resistance or support break to give yourself like the best edge to know, all right, if we lose this level, this could be our support, is how it happened on the left, and maybe this could happen again. So, not saying this will happen, but so anyway, we have our previous bear flag that dropped Tesla to $100, and that box range looks very similar to the SPY box range, which is kind of sketchy to me to think about. But that setup right there looks almost not quite identical, but pretty similar to the SPY range. Actually, both of these fractals right here. And I'm going to show you that real quick, because we were talking about the SPY looking like it could be in some type of bear flag, where it had the support chop range where we lost it, but we bought right back into it, and then we rejected again at the top, and then the next time we came down, we could double bottom, but if we came back and back tested that bear flag as resistance, we could drop. And looking at Tesla right now, looking at Tesla between November 9th of 2022 and December 12th of 2022, this same looking chart right here, let me just look at SPY. Watch this, guys. I mean, I don't know how perfect it is, but oh jeez, I'm gonna have to zoom in, because you can tell I was shorting SPY because I have all my damn yellow lines, man. This is the kind of stuff I do when I'm like in a trade, to watch for where am I gonna get stopped out and so on and so forth. It's funny. I don't even know if I have it anymore. Shit. I like that 94.75. I like that. And then, okay. Where was that bear flag idea? Well, it was probably... Oh, shit. Well, I guess it's kind of not as... Well, it's somewhat similar. Not quite as similar as I thought. It's kind of right here. It was right about here that we had these multiple rejections. We had this support right here. This was the potential bear flag. I mean, it's going to be a little harder to see on my chart, but I don't know if you guys can tell, but you have the drop into it, you have the chop, you have the breakdown through, and then you get back in, try to reclaim it, and then you break it, and now you look like you're going to get a double bottom, but instead you start rejecting off of it, and now you're potentially falling lower. So currently on the hourly, however, you do have bullish divergence. So I'm surprised that, I guess it's bearish divergence are going to be worse. SPY's actually below 393.63 right now. My key area, I think, for SPY for today, and I kind of want to change my chart a little bit because I want to look and see if we can get another SPY entry potentially on a short if it does continue. And it looks like it's pretty clear. I mean, to me, this 94.75 to 94.65 area, if this flips to resistance today, if we even get a chance, that could be a banger short. And if it's not that level, then it's 95. So I'm going to go from 95.24 to 94.75 on SPY. Those are the two key levels that if we do reject those, we could be looking at further move down. That could be a good entry. And then if we can somehow get back up and reclaim, well, actually, look at that. That's pretty nice too. Just a small, like, I'm talking about 20-cent range where I'm like, oh, look at this. But yeah, from 395.40 to 394.75, somewhere in that box range, to me, looks like if we can get a pop back up and reject that, that could be a good short entry. This market is bleeding right now, guys. It's absolutely bleeding. So, not looking too good. I mean, I'm hoping to get some pops so that we can potentially enter some shorts. But back to Tesla. So Tesla's sitting at 187.26. So the first thing that I'm going to do when the market opens is I'm going to put it on a 1-minute time frame, and I'm going to check the chart. I'm going to look at the levels that I've made, which I didn't create a lower support yet. I forgot. I'm going to look at the levels that I made, and I'm going to look and see if I can see candle bodies closing below. So the first thing that I am noticing here is this 187.53. This was rough, and I might have to put a little box because there is a range, man. When there's a range, it makes it a little bit harder to figure it out, but I'm going to put a range box in here from, we're going to say 188.43 to 186.90. That's going to be my range. So let's move it to 186.90 right there. So Tesla's sitting at 187.33. So if we can breach 186.90 and start closing candle bodies below and rejecting it, this is how we're going to play it. So look at, and Tesla's definitely tricky to short, I'm not going to lie. So if you look at the 15-minute here, you can see we closed candle bodies above this box range at 188.24 to 188.30. We rallied up. We double topped at 194.65, which is basically our first area of our biggest area of resistance if Tesla decides to jump up $6 or whatever. Then it rejected. It fell down, and it basically broke down to about 82.50. It bought back up, and candles continued to close above 186.90. As we did that, the bodies continued to close. We had wicks that dropped lower, wicks that went way higher, which is where Tesla gets a little bit tricky. And then we had a candle body on a 15-minute that closed directly on top of 188.30, which is my box range. And then we rallied up. We actually broke through the 94.65. Then we closed below it. Then we found resistance on it. Couldn't close above it. Again, rejection, until we finally did break up. Then we rallied all the way up to $213. We came back down. We tried to back test this support. We lost it. We fell down. We bounced off 187.60 to 187 even. We came back up, started getting resistance again at the 94.65. These are my two levels. And then you blast up, you get resistance on the 212, try to break above it, hold it as support, fail, back test it as resistance, fall back down, and then again, you try to come down to this 194.65-ish. You start closing below, but you seem to not be able to close candle bodies below 93.30 either. So these are, damn, dude, Tesla's mad hard. I'm not going to lie. And I can see why. It just has a lot of chop. So if we look at this, like kind of like how the SPY chart was the other day, where there was a double bottom and we had candles that couldn't close below, we have 93.29 to 94.65. That's what we're looking at on Tesla, it looks like. If we get a pop to 93.30, we'll have to watch for a rejection there. If we can get a rejection there and it continuously keeps tapping it as resistance, that could be the entry. If we pop up there, we have to watch the 94.65 as resistance. If we get rejected there and then we fail the 93.30 and then reject off 93.30, that'll be the entry there. That's kind of how I would play it. And then on the downside, if we break 186.90 and we start closing below it, and even if we get a drop, sometimes you can get a break back up and back test it. That's how I usually play it. Yesterday didn't work with NVDA, so I'm gonna have to see how this one plays out today. But if we break through 86.90 and then we come back up and back test it as resistance and we continue rejecting on it, you can use a 1 minute or a 3 minute. You can't sell the first rejection candle if you're using a 1 minute or 3 minute, because it's gonna need multiple 1 minute candles, like 6, 7, 8 of them, showing you that, like, okay, we are gonna reject here. So that's the way you play like a 1 minute time frame. It's hard to show you. Maybe if we go to that breakdown area that it had before, maybe I could give you a clarity of, like, I mean, I don't know how familiar you guys are with confirmations or using a 1 minute as a confirmation. It is tricky to do until you figure it out. Once you figure it out, it's probably one of the easiest things that you'll ever realize in your life. At least for me, that's how it is. But, shit. If it'll let me get over there, what the hell? All right, so where was that breakdown? That breakdown to 100 is right here. Let's see where the best spot was. Probably right here. Can we go in on a 5 minute? Is it gonna let me? Why does it keep going all the way back there? God damn you. It's not really letting me get over there for some reason. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I know this video is really shitty. It's all over the place. I hope you guys are all right. If you guys are still here, hit the like button. Comment below what you think, what price you think that Tesla will be at the end of the day. And I cannot get over to this damn spot to show you guys how to confirm a breakdown on a 5 minute, because it's just my chart's acting funky. So that's kind of shitty. But let's just say this is a 5 minute time frame. That's not going to be the area to show. Let's say this is a 5 minute time frame. You had a previous support in this green box. You broke the support. So now you're watching price fall back down here, and it starts getting support, and you see that the bodies are closing at a specific point off that drop. The first thing I do, boom, I put a horizontal trend line right at the body candles, and now I'm like, all right, this thing has dropped. It's wicked below, but it can't close bodies below this level. That's going to be key for me. So then it pops back up. Now you're seeing it rejecting your box that you made. You can see bodies are poking up, but they keep closing below. These are going to happen in 1 minute intervals. So you're going to watch it, reject, watch it, reject, and it's just still not happening. And then as it starts rising, you're like, oh shit, we're getting a candle body close above. So while this 1 minute, let's just say this is a 1 minute, it's a 15 minute. While this 1 minute candle is closing above, you're like, oh no, this thing's going to go, it's going to go. But then you wait for the next candle, you wait for another candle, wait for a couple candles to show you the way. If you see this candle like this pull up, you can even take a horizontal, put it on there and say, okay, this is where the body closed. Now, if a 1 minute closes above into my box, and then it pokes its head up into this area and closes above this line and holds, that's it. I'm either out of my short or I'm going to enter long. But obviously in this case, if we did this, the next candle just dumped. So that was a huge rejection. And if you were still holding short from, say, this green box or wherever you decided to grab in, somewhere in this peak of this whatever, now you are watching it and you're like, shit, I might have to get stopped out. I might have to get stopped out. If this thing closes above here, I'm stopped out. But then boom, next candle, absolute tear down to the downside. Now you broke your previous area where the candles could not close below. You're in your short, you're printing. this thing drops down, and at the moment it starts finding support at, say, 172. It drops down to about 172. So then you can do the same thing. You can even do it from here because this was the first drop. Boom, candle bodies closes here, and it wicks back up. Then you could put another potential resistance on the next candle body above. This is why I have so many trend lines when I'm shorting, because I'm doing this. And then I'm like, all right, now we've dropped. Let me see what's going to happen here. We have a candle body close here, candle body close here. Let's see if it pops above. It starts popping above, but it cannot close a resistance. It can't close above it again. So this is what I do. This is why when you come to my chart, sometimes I have 30 yellow lines because I'm on a 1 minute, and I'm doing this to control my trades. Not everybody has to do that, but I'm like that because I like to do it. You don't have to do it that way. You can just buy it and say, I'm going to risk $30 or $50 on this put option or this call option. I'm going to put a stop loss at a $50 loss. If that gets hit, that's it. But me, I like to learn. So I'm in here trying to figure it out. So then you start going, you end up dropping through this box, and you still haven't really back tested as resistance. So then you get a nice nasty drop down. You can do the same thing, 170 support box. It comes back up and it rejects off of here. And then if you wanted to take profits, you could have taken profits at the 170, of course. And it just starts rejecting. And then finally you start getting momentum. Now, this wouldn't happen super fast, but as you start getting this momentum here, pushing up, you're probably rejecting 174.48. Then you start pushing through it. Then you start seeing the wicks are getting higher and higher. So then you have to start thinking like, okay, how do I want to play this? Do I want to just stop myself out? And usually once it broke this line, I probably would have just cut it. And then it kind of just continues up. And then now you're back up in here again, and you're like, oh shit, it's trying to confirm it. Then you'd have to rewatch it again. And if you're like, all right, if this thing confirms this, I'm going to have to, potentially go long. And as you see, look at this is why this market is crazy, or SPY is crazy. Tesla. Boom, double top, lower high. So you could have shorted this again. So you made your first profits there, and then you come back up, you reshort it here at the break of this trend support, and then bam, drops back down again. And then this is just what keeps happening. And now you still have your same levels from before. And look at this monster candle that comes in from 67.57 and rocket ships up and wicks all the way through your two yellow lines. But where does the body close? Boom, 173.53. Still closes below your yellow lines that you made. So you know, all right, well, this ain't a confirmation. This isn't back into support. I'm going to hold my short. And what happens next? It drops down and all the way down to damn $100. And your short is a fucking monster. And that's what can happen sometimes in these markets. So that's why it's good to find those levels. Now, this video is getting very long, and I highly doubt that you guys are even in this video still. But if you are, leave a comment down below and let me know, where will SPY close today? Where will Tesla close today? What price do you think it's going to be at the lowest or at the highest? Do you think this is going to break down, or do you think it's just going to stay chopping all day in this range from 186.90 to 212.13? Well, not saying that it'll go to 212.13, but that's the range. Anyway, I got to let you guys go. Have a good day. Peace.